Hi, welcome back to my channel, Getting a Grip. I'm 27 years old, I'm living in Australia, and this is part one of a 3-part series looking at a breakdown of my current budget setup. I'm using the program You Need a Budget, or YNAB for short. I'm really excited to dive in. So in today's part, we are looking at my core expenses. So I'm going to go through each of those items and talk a bit about why I have them as core expenses. Ultimately, my goal is to get 1 month ahead and then 2 months ahead in terms of funding my core expenses. So please strap in. There's a lot of rambling, but I hope that you get something out of it. If you want more context about who I am and how I've gotten to this point, you can watch my previous video. It was a bit of an about me. So enjoy. So like I said, in this video, I'm just going to focus on my core expenses. So that's my non-negotiables, my monthly expenses, and any other big kind of immediate needs for me. So I'm just going to go from the top down and work my way through it. I don't know how long this is going to take. So let's start with debt. One of my goals is to really work on paying down my debt. So I do currently have a balance on my Zip Pay, which is one of those, I guess, pay in for schemes like Afterpay. So I'm currently contributing $60 a month, so that's $30 a fortnight automatic transaction to pay this down. I haven't put it into my tracking or my on-budget accounts because it was just, I didn't see the need for it. I'm just paying an automatic amount. And as with all of these three, so my Zip Pay, my credit cards, I am not putting any more charges on them. That is a hard line I have set for myself. So Zip Pay comes out fortnightly for $30 a fortnight. Next one we have is my NAB credit card. It is a low interest, no account fee card. The minimum payment is $25 a month, so I need to at minimum meet that and then put in extra to pay that off. Again, no charges are going onto this card. The next one I have is my Latitude credit card. Currently, I'm going to be putting $250 a month minimum against this card to get it fully paid off. Again, I'm not putting any transactions onto this card. Next, we have my Latitude personal loan. So I did consolidate my debt into my personal loan, or part of my debt into my personal loan. I pay this a monthly fee, but basically when I consolidated, one of the conditions is that I can't pay off more than half in the first half of the loan. So I basically am stuck paying a minimum monthly payment until halfway through the loan. So I'm meeting this obligation. Next budget I have is my fixed expenses. So these are what I consider my core expenses that need to be met. If nothing else, aside from my debt, this is where my money is going. So things like rent, water, gas, electricity, internet. I don't currently have internet because I'm on secondment, and so basically my electricity and my internet at home have been disconnected, which I'll reconnect once I go home after 3 months. And so that's saving me a bit of money, but I did want to keep putting money aside for my internet so that I can look at a different plan. Recently, with my phone plan, the plans changed and I ended up with an extra 100 gigabytes per month, and so I currently have 180 gigabytes on my phone. So I'm actually going to see how far that 180 gigs gets me before I decide to actually reconnect separate internet. I've been using it while I've been away because the place that I'm living at the moment doesn't have internet connected, and it's actually been going fine. Things like streaming, obviously logging on to do internet things, and watching YouTube and just using my day-to-day apps and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see whether or not I need this, and if I don't, then it's just extra money to go somewhere else. Next, I have my YNAB subscription. So I am committing to YNAB for at least a year. That is why I consider it a core expense, because it is helping me to do all of this. So that's why I've popped it in here. Next I have my phone. So I've got a phone plan, but I'm also paying off my iPhone through this plan as well. So I believe I only have 7 months left of paying off my phone. And then my actual phone plan will drop to $65 a month. So you can currently see it's $157.04 per month, but it will drop down to nearly $100 less in about 7 months. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have the option to pay out early, so I might see how I go with all of this budgeting and see if I can pay out early to bring that phone bill down. Next, I have these 2 investment categories. Now, the reason I haven't put them into their own investment kind of budget and why they're not optional for me is that this holiday investment contribution is actually a joint commitment with me and my partner. We are hoping to go to Europe in 2024, and so what we've decided is we're both putting $50 a fortnight towards, I guess, this investment, and he is investing it through Spaceships, which is a micro investing platform, and we're just going to see what happens. Hopefully we can get some extra cash out of it, which would be really nice. And then similarly, this is my Raise investment. So Raise is a different micro investing platform, and I'm looking at currently doing $10 a week towards that. Now, I know that that's not a lot, but at the moment that is what I feel comfortable investing until I can get ahead in my core expenses, at least a month ahead, and then I can look at increasing this. So the next core expense category group that I have is all around my car. So I own my car outright. I have paid off that loan about 2 years ago. So it's actually an asset that I have, and it only costs me what it is to run and maintain it. So I'm really happy with myself for that. So here we've got my registration. I'm currently doing 6 monthly registration just because I needed to move money around. If you watched my previous video, you'll have a bit more insight into my journey so far. So if you haven't watched that yet, check that out. But basically, my rego is coming up really soon, and it is another 6 months, but between when I get this rego and the 6 months until my next rego, I am going to look at saving up the full year amount so that I can get back onto that 12 monthly registration cycle. Next, we have my car insurance. This is a monthly charge of $80.39. Yep, that's pretty straightforward. Here you can see also yearly car insurance. So basically, I'm currently on monthly, but I do want to work towards saving up the full year premium so that I can just pay that fully when it comes around next. Next, I have my service and repairs category. So this is for bigger things. So my green slip, my pink slip for my registration, as well as any major repairs, new tyres, new brakes, all that kind of stuff. And so it's separate to my cleaning and maintenance sinking fund, which is $25 a month. I do want to get my car detailed. It hasn't had a really good deep clean since I bought it. Like, I do vacuum it and I do put it through the car wash, but that's what I'm saving up for. And then just for other things like air fresheners, wipes, the cost of vacuuming and washing it at the car wash, as well as kind of, little light bulbs and things like that that go out from time to time that I look after myself outside of the service and repairs. The next thing here, which isn't really a core expense, but it is something to do with my car. So this is linked. It's basically an e-tag for tolls in Melbourne and Sydney. I live 3.5 hours from Melbourne and 8 hours from Sydney, and so this charge is actually really low, and this $50.15 will last me for ages. So this is kind of like nothing, but it does auto top up, so I do want to make sure I have money put aside that if I do get to the point where it automatically deducts, then I have that money put aside. So my next category group is day-to-day. Now, this is kind of a mix of things, and I'll explain to you what's going on here. So you can see here I've got groceries, coffee and drinks, dining out, takeaway and snacks. The reason that I have separated all of this out is that food and snacks and drinks are my weak point when it comes to splurging and not sticking to a budget because it's yummy and I want it. And so basically I've split this out into all of these categories so that I can get a really good report on where I'm overspending, what types of things am I impulsively buying, and what are my kind of true expenses in these areas. So for example, my groceries is anything that isn't a coffee or a drink, dining out, that isn't snacks. So anything like confectionery, chips, lollies, I've actually got this snacks category because I do find myself, stop at a servo, get a chocolate bar, that kind of thing. And I don't count that as my groceries. Coffee and drinks, I previously have been in the habit of, getting a cafe coffee every day when I go to work. I used to work across from a shopping centre, so that was really easy. But I've made a concerted effort to be making my own coffees at home in the morning, as well as drinking like those latte sachets at work. And where I am now for my secondment is not really close to a cafe, so that has really helped as well. The other thing is drinks. So like I'm partial to a frappe, I'm partial to a Coke. So any of those types of drinks, soft drink, anything basically that's not water is going into this category. And I really want to see how much I'm spending there because currently and whenever I go on a long drive somewhere or if I'm going between towns, I will always get a drink along the way. And that really does add up. So yeah. Next, I have my dining out category. So this is classified as anywhere that I go to eat and sit down for a meal at the place where they're making the food. So this is a sinking fund. I want to put $25 a month into it to build it up so that I can, do those dinners with friends and have those, nicer dining out experiences. Currently, while I've been away for work, I don't go out to eat because I'm up here by myself. Not to say that I haven't, but it's harder to do when you don't know anyone. So, and I don't necessarily go and dine out by myself. Maybe I should do that more. Who knows? Anyway, so that's that category. Takeaway is anything that comes in a paper or a plastic bag that you've ordered from somewhere or anywhere with a drive-through. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It is my weakness. My job is really demanding and I've been finding myself really tired and unmotivated to be cooking. So that has been my go-to. So I really want to see this decrease a significant amount. And I guess I didn't have really a limit set for this month because I've just started. So it's actually been a really good insight into literally just what I've spent. So we'll come back to that. Snacks, like I said before, is pretty straightforward. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, coffee and drinks and takeaway and snacks aren't core budgets, but I know it's something that I do, so I'd rather budget for it than overspend like in my groceries or in something else. So that's why I've put it here, just to be realistic. Next, I have my fuel. I do a lot of driving for work. The place where I'm currently in seconded is a regional, actually no, it's a rural town. So it's really far away from everything. And I have found myself spending more on fuel to kind of get to interesting places and places where I need to go. So usually this is lower because me and my partner stay with each other a couple nights a week. And so we just share the driving a lot of the time. But that hasn't been the case. So hopefully this will remain stable. Obviously also fuel prices at the moment are sky high. So I think I'm also taking that into account, but I am interested to see what that actually looks like in my reports. Next, we have toiletries and cleaning. So toiletries is pretty self-explanatory. I've just made these to a sinking fund because I don't have any fixed purchases every month. And I might have to replace my dishwashing liquid and my laundry detergent and things like that once every 3 months, and my toiletries, things like toilet paper and tissues and things like that, are not necessarily something I'm buying every month. Same with shampoo and conditioner. So I've just done a sinking fund for those. Next, I have a small budget for entertainment and activities. I actually think I'm going to reduce this down. So this is things like going to a movie or going to like an art gallery and buying entry for that. I think this is a core expense because life's no fun if you're not having fun. So basically this is my limit that I've set for myself. Again, it's been easier to stick to this because I'm not living currently where everyone that I know lives. So that's been easier, but it does still allow me to go out for a movie or something if I do want to treat myself to that. The next thing I have is skincare. I consider that an essential. Things like moisturizer, my cleanser, my scrub. Having good skin and having healthy skin makes me feel good and feel healthy. So that is a core essential for me. I do a bulk order once every 6 months. So I really don't see it needing to be more than that, but we will see. Next, electronics technology. This is a sinking fund. It's not necessarily a core item, but things like light bulbs and batteries and stuff like that just comes up, I think, and I've also included in this budget things like screen protectors and a case for my phone. So I guess it's more so like an insurance budget. Anyway, I don't know. This is probably a variable category where if I don't have the money that month or I want to put it to something else, then I'll probably do that as long as I have a little fund built up. Miscellaneous for now is kind of like I don't know where to put it stuff. I will be getting more clear on this in the future, so I'll just skip over that. My subscriptions, I don't have a standard subscription for things like streaming services. What I do is that I will sign up to one per month. So this month I'm on Paramount Plus. And basically I subscribed and then I cancelled it straight away. So it doesn't automatically draw from my account the next month if I forget to cancel it. And I jump around to a few different services for the variety. So basically this changes every month. I also have a Dollar Shave Club subscription, which is, I guess they send you replacement razors. And the thing is they don't charge you if you don't get the box. So I get a notification a week before they're going to ship my box. And I have just been pushing it back because I don't really need it at the moment. So that's also just very variable. So that's why I've made this kind of account here that's more variable than anything else. Okay. Next we have health and wellbeing. So this is a core expense. I think that's self-explanatory. I have my health insurance, my Medibank. I have sport in the gym, which is on hold at the moment just because of my secondment. I haven't found a club to play tennis at, and I really like my gym back home. And so I do want to start saving up so that I can, I guess, fund that without stress moving forward. Activewear goes hand in hand. Got to have the right tools for the job, but this is variable. This is not core. This is extra money. Self-care and beauty I consider a core expense. This is usually the first thing to go when I am looking at tightening the budget, but things like my eyebrows, my nails, my haircut, makeup, I don't spend a lot here anyway. I get my haircut once a year. I get my eyebrows done if I have an event or something coming up. I don't get my nails done. I do them at home. But I really wanted to start building this up so that I could invest that time in myself, get a massage from time to time, and, maybe regularly get my eyebrows done. Because again, same as skincare, when I feel good, I am good. So that's what that is. My hobbies and craft is a core expense for me because I'm an avid cross stitcher. That's one of my hobbies. It's not an expensive hobby, but it is the way that I wind down every single night. And I work on really big projects. So it's not expensive a lot of the time, but when I'm starting a new project, it does take a little bit of investment up front. So I do want to be putting this away or to the side. Pharmacy is pretty self-explanatory. Anything from the pharmacy, prescriptions, supplements, ointments, all that kind of stuff. And then this medical appointments here is what I want to put aside to, I guess, pay the gap between Medicare and my private health fund. So, for example, if I go to the physio, the appointment might be $90, which I pay out of pocket, and then Medicare will reimburse me $50 of that, but I'm still $40 out of pocket. So it's basically paying the gap. And that's similar for things like my Medibank. They'll only pay a portion of things like osteo and dental. So I just want to build this up so that I'm not limited over time. So that's $40 a month. The next thing I want to look at is this credentials folder. It's really straightforward, and it's basically just any of these things that I need to renew at some stage. I'm saving up for. My license is coming up really soon, so I don't know if I'll keep them like this or whether I'll just put like a set amount aside. I basically know what they're going to cost, but I just thought for the sake of getting started, I would start it like this. But my license is coming up for renewal, my driver's license, and then my passport is likely up for renewal very soon, so or in the next year, so I'm saving up for that. It's not a huge amount, but I just thought I'd put it aside, get into the habit, you know. These are credentials for my work and volunteering. I have to have them, but they're pretty new, so they don't have to be renewed for another 3 or 4 years, and the contribution is minimal, as you can see, so I might get to a point where I just fully fund them and then put them aside. The next thing I have is my emergency and buffer category. So I have played around a lot with how I want this to look. I've previously, you know, quote unquote contributed to my emergency fund without it being clear about what it is supposed to be for or how much it should be. So what I've done here is I've actually broken these out, and these are part of my core expenses that I need to contribute to every month to build them up. So I eventually want to make additional superannuation contributions. So my employer puts away 10.5% of my after tax salary or my after tax paycheck towards super. I had a look at it today. I really want to be able to make extra contributions. So this is not an immediate thing, but I eventually will be wanting to put $100 a month aside to start with, to put towards that. My superannuation is similar to, I guess, like a 401k or a retirement account. The next thing here is an interesting section, and I actually was inspired by Gen Z Finance here on YouTube. She has a section where she was putting tax away from one of her paychecks manually, and I guess the function of it made sense to me, and so I wanted to see if I could apply that to my lifestyle creep and bonus money. For this particular budget at the moment, what I am going to do is put $350 from each of my paychecks that I received during my secondment into this. That is the difference between my regular salary that I was on and my temporary secondment salary for the period of 3 months. And so I want to make sure that I'm not whittling that away and that I'm actively putting this aside, and it'll be a nice little bonus for the end of my secondment that I can do with what I want to. The other thing is, while I've been on secondment, it's gone over the financial year, and so my salary that I was on, my normal salary, actually increased by 2.5% in line with inflation. So actually what I want to do is, after I get back from secondment, from each paycheck, I want to deduct 2.5%, and basically budget on what I was on, and save that 2.5% from each paycheck in here as extra or bonus money. And then here I actually have bonus money. So that's things like cash gifts. I do get reimbursements from my work when I travel for things like meals and kilometres. So all of those reimbursements will go in here because I do not spend as much as they reimburse me on that travel. So it's bonus money. And any interest from my savings accounts and things like that will go into here as well. And then I can, just like Gen Z Finance does, maybe look at it each quarter at the end of the year and have a nice little nest egg there. Stuff I forgot to budget for is pretty straightforward. It's those little cents and dollars here and there, variants that I might need to cover. This bills cushion, I want to get up to $500 so that accounts for any unforeseen bills, but also if my electricity is out of control one quarter, that I actually have this money set aside so it doesn't actually make me cry about it. So that's what that is. This interest charges an account fees, so that's for things like my credit cards. If they do have an account fee that is charged monthly, I'll pop this in here so that it is covered and I don't have to take that from somewhere else. I want to start with a $1,000 emergency fund. I think that makes sense, and then from there I will increase. Over time, I think that these two excesses will roll into my emergency fund, but at the moment I actively want to save for them separately. So my car insurance excess and my hospital cover excess is basically my, if I want to claim my insurance benefits for an emergency, I need to pay this out of pocket. And so the maths that I will often do is, for example, I had to get my windscreen replaced a few years ago. It did crack in the summer sun. And so I had the choice of, do I pay my $600 excess to get it fixed? We actually managed to get it fixed for $300. And so I didn't claim my excess. And therefore I didn't impact on my no claim bonus with my insurance. So I guess having this will mean that I can deal with those bigger emergencies that are below my excess amount more easily anyway. And then if I did have a major thing that I had to pay for, then I have the $600 set aside for that so that I can claim my insurance. And that's the same thing with hospital cover. So that is where I think I will leave this video. I hope that this has given a little bit of an insight into what I consider to be my core expenses and the things that I really want to focus on building up first in my getting a month ahead journey. Thank you for joining me. As I said earlier in the video, this is part 1 of a 3-part series. So I will see you again soon. With that, any feedback, any comments or questions, let me know. But otherwise, I hope that you have an awesome day.